Hello and welcome to Roll to One. I am Jaden Miller. I'm here with Andy, Zane, Jackson, and Ross, and we're having a good time. We play some D&D with a sci-fi twist here on this show you found. It's called Orbit 21, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. So join us for this hour-and-a-half ride as we get ready for tonight's episode of Orbit 21. Music, it's there. All right, I'm pumped, and you'll be able to tell when I'm wearing my size large Roll to One shirt that I ordered. Link in the, you'll see in the doobly-doo. And yeah, we're on YouTube Music as well. If you're just listening to us and you've hit the subscribe over there, I actually listen to YouTube Music at work now. I didn't know that it was a thing until I heard myself talk about it. So hopefully you can join us in our listening efforts. All right. Speaking of listening efforts, hope you guys are paying attention, because last time, Kane, Scott, Jove, Thor, Ewan, and Memory all fought fiercely with the Marines and officers atop the ORB-3. Maybe not with, against. Amid the chaos, one officer took flight in a ship, fighting hard, only to be destroyed by a hacked turret. What a zoomy he was. Despite their efforts, they lost Prisoner 5 in the battle. After the dust settled, they collected themselves, raided the jail's stash, and Memory recovered the data she needed. They then boarded a vibrant ship capable of galactic travel. I guess maybe it's not galactic. What's the word? It would be
intergalactic.
Intergalactic travel, or it'd be
intragalactic.
What's the soul
Intra,
like?
yeah.
Solar, like to the sun.
Solar travel.
Tell me, science people, in the description or comment. That's it. Despite their victory, they are not safe yet. The stealth-capable ship still needs to find a way off this Zeus-forsaken red rock. Because, you know, we're getting into space. And space has some Greeks in it. Yeah, that's it. You know, Jupiter and
Jove.
It's Roman.
That's Roman?
It's Roman.
What's the difference?
The names. It's all Greek to me.
What is Zeus called? Jupiter?
Jupiter or Jove.
Oh.
Is it where
Why?
Where
do you think I got
Wow. Okay, so
Jove, Thor.
I'm drinking electrolytes because it's hot as ham sandwich in this room. But while I do that, you guys got to figure out what you're going to do. You're sort of sitting there.
No, we're flying there.
No,
Hovering.
actually, you have yet to take off this vessel.
Really?
You are just sitting on the rooftop as the potential SJF soldiers, Space Jurisdiction Force. They have control of the galaxy at large, as far as what we know as humans. I say galaxy, I keep saying that. Solar system at large. And yeah, so you guys are sort of deciding what to do. Memory is fiddling with some device in the corner of the room.
Who is on shields again?
I am. I'm on shields.
Yes.
Okay, Scott is going to go over to Jove Thor and say analysis of the shield protocols.
Whew. Just from a brief look, this is quite the ship. We have Tier 1 cloaking shields, which, Jaden, correct me if I'm wrong, that pretty much completely hides us. Right?
Yeah, so the way that cloaking works, as far as I like to understand it, is you have no shields as long as you are cloaking.
Oh,
and
okay.
as long as you are, so basically when you come out of stealth, you are shielded up.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Romulans in Star Trek?
Yep.
Okay.
Yup. See you at Comic-Con.
Okay, fair. Okay. So Scott, we have Tier 1 cloaking shields, so we can hide if we want to, but as long as we have those shields up, we don't have our regular shields up. We got 8 shield points.
Yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
can hold. You basically
Yeah.
you can take 8 for fun. You can take 800 points of you
Of
stabbing it with a stick. 800 hit points of damage can be done to your shields before it's even taken a scratch.
Right.
I just imagine a scenario where someone is just sitting there for like 2
800
days.
times?
Stick.
Just
It's like it's like there's a thing in Elden Ring where there's a wall that shouldn't be able to go through, but they gave it hit points because it was initially going to be a fade out wall, and so there was a guy who literally hit the darn thing like 100-something times and discovered, because this is the Elden Ring community, and discovered that the wall could be broken. and it disappeared, and it's in a place that's easily accessible around the corner. So it's just a hilariously like a wall. So exactly like that.
What number wall was it? Was it the 4th wall?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
All right, that's
Sorry.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Back to the game. It looks. We should be able to take a good amount of damage before we even have anything, and we can be cloaked. Yeah.
I think it would be prudent to activate the cloak, don't you?
Do we need to be in the air for us to start cloaking?
No, you're able to activate the cloak.
Okay. All right. So Joe Thor's gonna go ahead and activate the cloaking shields, and yeah.
Yes, you activate the cloaking shields, and you sort of see the exterior begins to. You can only see on the ultraviolet spectrum,
Okay.
right? Like it's like night vision beyond the space because of how you're bending light to not allow certain frequencies to pass through.
Gotcha.
I think it would be prudent to get out of here.
Yeah. Ewan, you want to take us up?
Want to?
Get us out of here.
Please.
So you begin to sort of activate the ship, and you get going.
All right. Scott, you're on comms. Can you check to see the schedule for the Intergap? The Intergap schedule today, and see if you can hack into their communication system. See if we can know when the next portal's going to open, because we want to get off planet ASAP.
What?
Checking the schedule.
What? What? We have to go back there?
Go back where? We just need to get out of here.
But like, isn't there like anywhere else? Like up?
I mean, yeah. Well, let's try and get as far away from here as possible, and if we cannot do the Intergap, we'll figure something else out. But if we want to go for speed and getting away from here, we need to go through the Intergap.
Can I check to see when the next Intergap flight is scheduled?
So
Is that public information?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a bit like checking to see if a flight is available, right? It's sort of you go onto this like website, right? You pull it up, and you sort of look and scrolling down and finally finding the schedule and clicking out, looking to see when transport will be available, Intergap flights will be leaving, and sure enough, there is one later this afternoon. However, it is slated to take a number of VIPs wherever they are going in the Intergap. So the thing about the Intergap is that it is secretive. The flights, they have to alert the public when it's going to happen, because there's a sort of power fluctuation and a resonance that goes off outside, like in the city. Or like it's a very loud thing, and it's sort of like there's a curfew context to it, right? And then people begin, like once they sort of launch the device. You guys sort of experienced it when you left. There was like a lot of built up to that moment. So people are aware of that. However, the destination is left secret
Oh, okay.
for the safety of those traveling through the Intergap.
Intergap flight IG-112 is scheduled for 3 hours from now. It is marked for multiple VIPs. Destination unknown.
But don't we want to go somewhere specific? What was it?
Why does it matter?
Pluto?
we want to go somewhere specific, but we are also going to be some of the most hunted people in about the next, 10 minutes.
The Intergap is the fastest way off this planet.
I'm starting to feel.
I'm ready to kill some guys. I don't care.
Didn't you just kill some guys?
Not enough.
Okay.
If I may, and she's like over in the corner, and she's plugged her laptop into the computer, into the ship. And she's like, from what I can tell, based on our communications array, is that we are still invisible. We still don't exist. Seems that we've been keeping up our things. Now, we may be hunted, maybe not. But I do know that we don't exist. There's officially no one to charge other than your face. So
What?
You don't have like remember that thing back in like 2024 that was like Social Security? They don't have that anymore. It's gone. We don't have those. We're gone. Like there's like whatever number you are, it's gone.
It was abolished in 2062.
If only.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Long story short,
Place your bets in the comment if that'll
she
happen.
goes on this tangent that basically is like, if you had a Social Security number, it wouldn't be there. You don't exist. You died.
So
That's not entirely true.
So whatever they're
Entirely
tracking, if
wrong.
they are pissed off at you, they're gonna have to hunt you the old-fashioned way.
Right.
So there's no countermeasures to cloaking right now in this.
No,
Society.
There is no reason right now to look for cloaking, unless you guys decide you're gonna start like really flying towards something dangerous.
I mean, suddenly a ship that was captured and bagged and tagged is missing after
Yes.
attack on a base that
So-
was known to have cloaking capabilities.
Oh yeah, they'll know.
I feel like our detective friend is going to put 2 and 2 together.
It's
I'll go.
possible.
It's also possible they didn't tell a bunch of people about that. Which means telling other people about that would reveal that they were supposed to and they didn't.
Well, remember that soldier radioed out before he left the fight?
You radioed to someone.
So
I think it was to...
But you would also think they wouldn't want that information getting out to the public that, hey, these 4 people, like, they've done a ton of things and they've stolen
No,
property.
Well, there's
I'm worried
that,
about that
yes.
detective.
so
I get
Yeah.
that, but you... I think he's the only one we have to worry about. I don't think we have to
He'll
worry
still
about
be on
much
our
more than
tail.
just him and, like, a handful
Right.
of guys.
so
What I'm
here's
saying is there's a ticking clock. We can't just hide here.
right.
Well, yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna basically illustrate.
Yeah.
We're gonna get gamey for a second.
All right.
Ooh.
What?
Everybody who is tell me in what order you want to know what your system is capable of.
When you say our
So
system,
everybody is operating a system right now. I gave you bullshit yesterday, bullshit
sure.
whatever it was on the show. I said everybody had a job to do, but I've sort of now looked into it and we sort of defined your ship for real.
Yep.
And so if you tell me the thing that I told you last time, we'll make sure that there's a real life equivalent. But let's go ahead and just start with what we know and we're talking about right now, which is cloaking.
Yes.
So
Be
these
Joe
shields have basically it's a massive projector pulsing with like waves of energy. It's required for you to have a directional shield, right? If it's disabled, you would lose all of your shield points, right? That's kind of how that works.
Gotcha.
Right?
You said it's directional. It's not.
It's like a projector.
Oh, okay.
So it's a shield and somebody has to man the shield.
Okay.
Right? As soon as you stop manning the shield, then it's like whatever direction you left it on.
Okay. So we have to determine whether it's up, down, front, back, left,
So it's
right.
not every direction?
It's not omnidirectional, no.
Oh. Why? Or I should say how?
So
The reason is because thrusters, if it was to be all encompassing, would incinerate your ship from the inside of the shield. They haven't found a way to, there'd be no air, there'd be no, whatever it would be. They have found it's a perfect seal. Therefore,
That's true.
Thrusters, energy, radiation, all of those things need an escape.
thrust-based engines expel energy, so it has to go somewhere.
And they have not found a way to make it tight enough to block all the incoming damage without.
Oh, the damage.
Right, so it's like.
Oh, I thought you meant the cloaking.
The cloaking is omnidirectional, but the cloaking is just bending light.
Gotcha. Okay, I see.
It's not trapping the energy.
So turn off the thrusters while we're shielding, or keep the shields only.
You can
one
shield
direction?
in this context because it's only bending light. That's all it's doing.
Okay, we can shield with the cloaking shield,
Right.
but not
so
the regular shield.
Cloaking, you use your action to deactivate and activate when we're in combat, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If you guys just want to dip. Now, in this case, it would end if your ship attacks, takes damage, or moves more than 500 feet on its turn. So while you're cloaking, you're not moving very fast because you're only bending light. You guys have seen Predator.
Yeah.
When you're moving as an elite in Halo, you're visible.
can't see.
When you're not, you're very hard to see. And that's the context here.
Okay.
Are the real quick?
Yep.
Are the shields? If we were to sit still, could we activate them in all sides?
The shields,
Like
or
So, if
Cloak.
we were being attacked by marauders and we were cloaked and hiding, and we wanted to protect because a stray thing could come from any direction.
can't be cloaked and shielded.
Ignore
It'd
it.
be
That
like-
it's the reason that they do this is because it needs to act like a person with a shield in their arm.
So there's no
right?
marauder
So
shields.
It's like batten down the hatches is someone focusing on the shield's protection.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, so by the way, the ship can be completely invisible for only 5 minutes a day. Though it needs to be used in consecutive turns, it does not have to do so. Like, it can be whatever you want. You can do it like, it can be, it's basically number of rounds equal to 5 minutes, which is 500 turns, right? Or 5 minutes. Now, this time recharges 24 hours after use. The reason is specifically because of what kind of an engine this ship has.
So we can't stay cloaked forever.
You can't stay cloaked for more than 5 minutes at a time.
For a day.
5 minutes a day, yes.
Okay.
So we should deactivate the cloak immediately.
Or just get out of here.
This is more of like everybody's getting used to their systems.
The speed on this thing is ridiculous. So
it's a really fast ship. Does anybody what system are you operating? You have the ship. You know its speed. We sort of illustrated that. And this ship is capable of activating evasive maneuvers, which is like basically dodging, right?
Yeah.
And it's very fast. It's considered a Class 2 ship, even though it's of fighter size. The ship was built. It's like the Millennium Falcon, right? It's faster than it should be. It's for what its size is. It's just really, really fast.
how many parsecs?
Now, what were you doing, Kane? What were you looking at?
Weapons.
Weapon system. Yes, you have 2 auto turrets. They sort of sit, one on the bottom, kind of moves in its direction, and then one on the top back, sort of just like looks around. And you can turn them both forward, turn them both back, but otherwise they're just auto. They move in their own direction.
Yes.
They also are automatic in that way as well. Cool. So you look over the weapons in that context, and then what are you looking at? Communications. You have comms.
I am comms.
Yes.
Sorry.
So you're good. Now, for 2 ships to communicate, they both must have a functioning communication system and be within 1,000 miles of one another. The system that we currently are operating normally transmits only audio communication, and most systems can also translate automatically into your native language. Though older models don't have this feature, yours does. So right now, if you're going somewhere and say, for example, they speak German, it would translate into the English language that you have it calibrated to.
Okay.
So that's just.
I feel like we're getting that now in 2024.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
I'm saying we have that.
Google Translate.
But
The
this is
older
the
models.
future.
The reason older models didn't have that specifically was because it didn't seem important. It was removing people's jobs too early on in this process, and now they don't care because they've replaced human beings as a whole.
Except for the SJF.
I will say that for the sake of ease, we do have a fabricator on the ship, like a 3D printer for food.
Makes sense.
So we don't have to worry about food and water as long as we're in this thing. What we do have to worry about is the
Surviving.
dangers that are out there. That's pretty much all I want to worry about.
Gotcha.
Because this is meant to emulate an 80s sci-fi experience, I don't want to worry too much about survival.
Gotcha.
In space.
Gotcha.
No one can hear you eat.
No one will serve you dinner.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions? Engines are just sort of tied into that, tied into all of it, sort of mixed together. And the way that I like to think about it is that it's all powered by one thing, right? It's all powered by one sort of. Actually, let's role play experiencing looking at this thing for the first time
From the inside.
from the inside. So you go to this ship engine, right? So it's in the middle of the ship. You sort of pull this hatch along the floor. There's a handle, and it moves like a garage door, and it goes, and it pulls against the back, right? And as it pulls in, you just see this long sort of like, it looks like a NOS in a car, right? Like this big chamber that you can sort of see glowing, and wrapped around it is this metal kind of
Coil.
like hose clamp coil, right? And it, to each side, it's going, forward and backward, a hose that goes to different various parts of the ship, and those split off and go to different things. And then there's like 2 connectors, like electrical connectors to the side. But in this center thing, you guys have all seen the anomaly. We described the anomaly as sort of this aurora of light that sort of always faced you when you looked at it, right? This is very similar. However, it is incredibly volatile in the way that it sort of exists. It's very, instead of an aurora, imagine that it's more of like a lightning bolt, or a what's the thing that you touch and it's sort of like you touch it and the coil goes
Tesla
towards
coil.
you. The Tesla coil. It
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like a Tesla coil in how this is structured.
Or a plasma ball, I think.
It's a very plasma ball. It's probably
Yeah.
made of some
I feel
sort
like
of a
Tesla coil would hurt you.
yeah, but
you
but
touched
it
it.
looks like that, but in this central cylinder.
Cool.
It's contained.
Yeah.
However,
For now.
this is like the center of mass on the ship. So should this ship be compromised, it's very likely that this will explode.
Yeah, makes
Interesting.
sense.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I'll be fine.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
know you will. Yeah.
By the way, when it does go off, I will say, actually, somebody make either a technology check. Make a technology check to determine how much damage and what kind.
All right, here.
I'll give him assistance.
15.
15. Is that better?
If
Yeah, I'll
if
give you
he's
assistance.
giving me assistance,
You guys are
then
communicating to one another,
20.
bouncing ideas. 20 is good enough for me. This is going to do both force damage and radiant damage. So you will take it, right?
Nope.
No, you don't take any of that?
It's immune to force and
Oh,
radiant if I
gross.
use
He's
the
gonna be
shadow
like
shield.
Superman and
So
Batman
he can
vs
survive.
Superman
He
when
can
the
survive
For one
whatever
round.
this is.
Come on, Duke.
Remember that
Uh,
scene where like the Senate building blows up and he's just
Mhm.
like standing there. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
dang."
So that would be you in this game adventure. You would then suffocate and die, but you know.
Eventually, yes.
Well, sure.
So
At
but
least
yeah,
I won't
it's-
freeze to
it's,
death.
It's a. I think
immune
I
to
actually
temperatures.
have the science of it. If you guys are really curious, I'm not going to just like bore the audience with it, but I will say that I have the science of it and how it sort of operates.
Science.
So, from Jovthor's experience working on other ships and everything, do I see anything special? Oh, do I notice anything special about this core?
Yes. So there is basically there's two types of travel in this galaxy. You are in this solar system. You have regular travel like a spaceship, and then you have intergap travel. And those are
Yeah.
separate.
Right.
What this one is that this ship is designed to do one of them very efficiently, and that is intergap flight. However, the way that it works is that it's actually using fuel that is capable of traveling in space as well. So it is built for both. What makes this ship very special is that somebody rigged the hell out of it so that they didn't have to pay for more than just intergap flight stuff. Because normally your ship's really heavy because it contains a butt ton of fuel and what's called a DT pellet, which is compressed spheres of deuterium and tritium. It's a hydrogen isotope designed for a fusion reaction.
Okay, so we'll be able to travel in great distances. We'll just have to make sure we have enough fuel.
Yes. So a DT pellet is the thing that's in the middle of this thing. It is currently giving off deuterium and tritium.
Would it be common knowledge where to get more?
Yes-ish. They are. They require cryogenic containers, and there needs to be an automated system that transfers the pellet to this fusion drive. Meaning, you need a place that has a lot of
You need
people
you need
and
gas pump.
technology. Yeah, you need to basically. There's facilities designed to deliver these into ships,
Okay.
which would mean that they're likely under the control of LatCorp,
Sweet. I remember.
Logistics and Trade Corporation,
But
which
there's
is the place
probably-
that you guys initially came in on.
Yeah.
But there will probably also be a black market for them.
For sure would be. That's
But you
something
also
that
need a
you'll have
black
to
market,
investigate.
probably
I'm sure I have
facility.
connections.
Right.
Black
Like a
market gas
chop
station.
shop type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for now,
Cool.
everybody just colloquially they're called DDs. DTs.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have
Cool.
enough to
Cool.
get to where we're going? Do we know
Should we analyze?
that? Yes.
So the way that it works right now, they're super great for interplanetary missions. It can handle. I guess how do I sort of? I had a word. I had this. I have it. It's done. I did the work ages ago. So this is a. Okay, this is considered a personal vessel. It is going to take you. So your DD will not begin to deteriorate until it enters the intergap. That is the only time it matters. Just FYI.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Your DD will not. I mean, your DD will not deteriorate in the inner gap.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Your DD will not deteriorate in the inner gap because nothing cellular deteriorates in the
So
inner gap.
we could go in the inner gap with 1% battery.
and
Be
it
good.
still
Yeah.
works.
Sweet.
It is like 1 hit point, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in space, it is a. They do these in AUs. They have it as in. This is a cruising speed. So the cruising speed of this one is going to be 6.75 days of travel per
AU.
AU, which is 162 hours. That distance that it can go. Okay, so right now you have enough to get you to Pluto and back.
Oh,
Okay.
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 That's
Wow.
pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty
Cool.
good.
So it holds a lot.
Nice.
You don't really need to gas
So we're
up
not
much.
Not
running
very
on.
often,
We're not running
no.
on E.
No.
No.
No,
All
so
right.
that would be, I have to figure out what that's going to be in AU, but for now, just think about it in terms of distance and back.
So
All
all
right.
our characters are aware of this knowledge that you just laid out.
Yes, this is something that we all discussed,
Went
you
over.
guys all discussed while looking at the device.
Scott, and did it take less than 5 minutes to discuss that?
Yeah.
Scott is going to look at Joe Thor and go, I would highly recommend we get away from this place and deactivate the cloak as soon as possible.
Okay. Ewan, take us out of here. We need to find a place that's hidden within the next few minutes to try and save our shields.
A blaze would have been nice.
Please.
Now,
Please.
Yeah.
So you may, your choice, Scott, choose to make a perception. No, pardon me. It would be an investigation check to look at your communications array and determine if there are going to be enemies where you are trying to land. As much
Okay.
as he's able to, he will have to roll to pilot this thing correctly. You need to determine where you're going to land as the communications.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll look for the least amount of enemies in
Okay,
the
go ahead
area.
and
Do
make
we
an
need to
investigation check.
Do you determine that before we get on the air?
Well, it's just this is him just looking as you're about to find a place to land.
Oh, so can we be in the air then?
Sure.
Great. In that case, was there another way out of here other than the intercap? Like a hole or a port somewhere on this dome?
there's probably bubble gates.
Also
Or-
staring at memory.
What's the plan?
Is there a way other than the intercap to get out of here?
Memory. I require assistance. I cannot figure out this comm system.
Oh, that's because it's upside down, silly. I'll give you advantage. Sure.
Much better. Dirty 20.
All right. So, yes, you can find a safe place to land. You begin to fly around the ship. Go ahead and make a piloting check to act as your stealth.
18.
Are you attempting to be... Are you have the cloaking on?
Yes,
You
yeah.
can roll with advantage.
Nice.
$28.
It's a lot better.
Broken pilot.
So you're looking and monitoring these communications arrays. Memory sort of says, "Oh, let me help," and she goes down and she like starts to turn up the dial, and you're like looking at this visually and seeing all these dots pop up on like this like 80s radar looking thing, right? You see these red dots pop up as enemies. They're sort of navigating the ship through them. He sort of like flies around. You see Jove Thor begins to kind of put his hands on what looks like a glowing orb and sort of like move his fingers over this electrical signal and sort of is recalibrating cloaking, making sure that the light, as you sort of travel in and out of the shadow of buildings, that the light is matching the cloak of what you need, so you're remaining invisible. You, of course, tracking where the guns are sort of aiming and realizing that you could just take out a bajillion civilians at any time. Oh my gosh. There's that crosses your mind, as would anybody. It's just sort of...
It's intrusive thoughts.
It's like when you're... It's
We
like,
have a walking
I would
Death
say that
Star. We have
I'm
a
not gonna-
Darth Nihilus.
If that's you,
Whatever.
see a therapist, I guess. No, I mean,
Kane's try.
I just am saying you feel that. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's sort of like when you see the drone fly over whatever. It's like you can imagine that scenario. So anyway, you're also
Gone.
now you sort of land
Reduced atoms.
in this like on top of this building between two other buildings, right?
By the Red Plains Tech Hub.
And you're far enough away, but I will say you get this with your really high roll. You sort of land and you see several other ships like woo, 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 and then like fly past you, and you see like a unit of police officers just like flying nearby, and they're now hunting you. They're
So has it been
looking
like
for
3 minutes?
you. I would say like I'll give you 2. I'll say it was even 2 minutes.
Okay. Is there a hatch port?
And you sort of land. You feel comfortable enough to turn off the cloaking.
Yeah.
We should. We
Okay.
should. Hold on. I'm gonna. How do I put this? I believe it would do us good to lay low for the night.
What? Shouldn't we just get
Agreed.
out?
We need to recharge the cloak, and I could stand to use, do repairs.
Don't we have the things on the ship to do it in the space?
The only way we could get into space is through the dome, and that would create quite a ruckus.
That's what I'm
If
saying.
you get caught.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't there like a service hatch or something?
Jovthor,
It's got to be something.
go ahead and make a history check.
Let's see. History is intelligence. 11.
Something about this reminds you of home. Looking at the dome, I mean, you're seeing what looks like a blue sky, right? You know, it's a projection, right?
Right.
It's like the sphere in Las Vegas, right?
Right.
And you, it just for some reason reminds you of home. You can't pinpoint why. You did not roll high enough to know why.
Right.
But something about the way that this dome exists reminds you of home. And you've seen people fly out of the dome before.
This is the dome over the entire city, right?
Yeah, it's like this huge, it's like a huge snow globe, basically.
Okay.
Like the tree dome in SpongeBob.
Right.
Kind of.
Like Sandy's.
It's like that's the big idea.
Like that?
So
Environmental dome.
with that, Jovthor, I assume at each terminal that we have access to to information and stuff about everything, or is
Yeah,
it just at the
you
communication?
can
Look it up.
always sort of search the internet as long as you're within range of one.
Right. So I guess Jovthor is going to look to see if there are any gates outside of Verdant Plains or whatever.
Verdant areas is where where the city is
Yeah,
currently.
yeah.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Nat 20.
Wow.
Very nice.
So with a nat 20, you begin to search the web. And you find that there is a sort of tunnel that goes to another smaller one. And then there's a tunnel that goes to another smaller location. There are quite a few tunnels that go out to other smaller domes. But none of them are going to lead you out. The only way out from here is this front door, essentially. It's this large sort of it would be like a airlock that sort of lets you in garage style. It is well guarded. There are military personnel, SJF soldiers that are sort of manning this front door. But then, with your natural 20, you understand why this reminds you of home. Why is it that Jovthor knows that if he pops the bubble, there's an automated system that will close the hole?
Well, for those at home who may not remember, Jovthor is from Nimbus, which is a floating city that orbits Jupiter. And with that, they are, if they're not in the upper atmosphere, then they are orbiting in outer space. So, if an asteroid or something were to get past their defenses and hit and crack the dome, then they're going to need to very quickly seal that, or else bad things happen to all the inhabitants.
Did those bad things happen? In
Um,
Jovthor's jaded childhood?
Not in Jovthor's lifetime,
Oh.
but they have historically to
I think
other,
there's like
other
a-
cities.
He's seen
There's
he's seen the videos.
There's a class. There's like a small. Imagine like a small flashback. There's like a class of simians that are watching like an instructional video in a 1940s style, like little space, and then they're all like looking out like that. They're like looking up, and then it's like, if the dome were to be hit by an asteroid, and then
don't
it's like
worry.
some like
Be
well-groomed
prepared for
man
that.
pointing at the board, and everyone's like, look, a man.
Does it?
If this ever becomes a movie, that's definitely the post-credit scene.
Well, it's still, but you have to remember, Jove Thor's people are all simians.
Yeah.
It's a science experiment that
yeah.
lasted too long.
Real world question: isn't Jupiter so big that it kind of attracts a lot of the asteroids in the galaxy?
Its moons
the
are going to
solar
crash
system?
into it at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. It was just
Yeah, you're good.
just curious.
Very
So
heavy.
yes, that would
So
definitely.
they probably use that force to ride the planet,
Yeah.
They probably
yeah.
also push the city up every once in a while.
Yeah.
just like they do with that one bridge city in Japan. Is it in Japan?
It's an airport, but yes,
But yeah,
it's slowly sinking.
there's a city.
Really?
Yeah, there's this engineering terrible thing that they did. They built a city or an
airport.
airport. They built an airport on an island that is sinking, so they have to build the city up
They actually-
or build the airport up every
They
couple of
actually
years.
they made the island.
It sounds
Yeah.
like the most expensive way to build an airport.
But
Actually,
it's-
it's not terrible. But
It's
also
more
it's land
expensive
space.
for them to condemn it than it is to keep building it every
Oh,
year.
that's like everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like freaking everything.
Anywho,
So
okay.
I bet
It's
Nimbus
much
is
more
very
expensive to
similar.
take it down.
Probably. All right. So with that realization, Jove Thor is like, "Oh, guys, we can try and sneak in behind the ships in the intergap, which I don't know how successful we'll be. We can wait for the shields or for the cloaking to recharge and try and figure something out. Or if we want to get out of here now and today, we can pretty much just go straight up and go straight into space. Or at least get out of Mars's orbit.
What?
So I'm from Nimbus, capital city of the Simian cities that orbit Jupiter. We have a very similar system to the dome that's here. Pretty much, we can shoot through it and zoom through and have minimal issues for the residents of the city, especially with Mars having at least some sort of atmosphere that's not going to immediately kill people. And with the speed that the shield will regenerate after we go through, we should be able to get out of here.
How small of a... Like, will they notice?
Yeah. Nope. We're going to go guns a-blazing through this, make a hole big enough for us, and then hopefully not get chased, but I am pretty sure with this ship, just based on what I've seen, we should be able to outrun most other things.
Alternatively, there are 2 additional interflight caps tonight.
But won't they be
Interflight
expecting that?
Yeah, if you're gonna catch an intergap flight like door, you have to do it down to like the millisecond, right? Like literally, it's a slingshot that slings you into the hole that is created in space.
Oh, it is?
instantly, and then you
Oh.
leave the space instantly from the other end.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you my idea in character or out of character?
Please,
In character?
whatever you want.
Okay. I'm gonna pitch this to memory.
Yeah. So you guys are discussing Nimbus and what that plan looks like, and he's talking to memory.
And et cetera. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that we could exchange our flight information with another's that's scheduled for an intergap flight later tonight. They would load our ship instead of the others.
I don't hate it. It would require us to. It would require us to hack in. I don't. So the data that I took from the ORB is. It's essentially. Well, it's something that Al requested. I'm not supposed to say, but and she takes your little communicator and just goes, turns it off. So there are no communications right now. And she says, well, this thing would allow Al into the SJF systems. It's a access chip. We could theoretically use it, but it will cost us him. He will know that we used it.
Al?
And yeah, Al.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know. He said, according to the plan, no one should use it. And I trust Al. He's been good to us so far. And of course, he's important to us as a family. So
Can I calculate the odds of success between the two plans?
Never tell me the odds.
you can for sure calculate the odds.
So want to say that this time.
Both of them are horrible, and I will make your lives miserable. Pick your favorite. I'm gonna make both hard. I would say, as far as odds are concerned, you're gonna have an easier time blowing a hole in the thing than you are hacking into the SJF with this chip.
Yeah.
Actually, I
But it
take
might
that
be-
back. It's gonna be easier for you to use this chip. However,
Then you lose
I
something
will
later.
then mark down one of my, grim portents of the campaign, and then that potentially has a long-term impact on the rest of the story.
You said that these were like flights that can be tracked. Well, don't flights usually also tell you what planes are going? So in
Yeah.
theory, would there
Yeah,
or would there
he's-
not?
Isn't that
His
his
plan
idea?
is not wrong to say that he could replace.
No, that's not
thing.
what I'm saying. I'm saying, is there a chance that there's a ship going into the Intergap big enough that we could go inside
Oh.
of as like a hangar? Like a Star Destroyer has
Oh.
TIE fighters it brings
Or on top, like on top.
Well, we
of
are
Like
in-
the
You guys-
Millennium
'cause
Falcon does
all-
on the bag.
so
yeah, like
all-
something like
reasonably
that.
large, but not ridiculous.
Let's just get this really straight. Intergap flights are standardized. The ships that go through are standardized. They're almost all the same. They're all built for that. It's like when you see a plane at an airport, it's the same plane as the next guy's flying.
Meaning that the cargo bay from for the first episode is about
exact
the
same
size,
layout.
which is almost,
I
This
will
ship
build
and nothing
that
else.
ship next time we're in one. Like I will build that map.
and also the doors aren't big enough to
So
hold this ship.
this ship could theoretically, I will say, there is a way to do that. So the way that it works is that that whole platform moves out like a drawer you pull out of the ship. A ship lands in, then the mechanics pull the drawer back into the ship. Does that make sense?
So
Yeah.
the cargo bay is big enough, but
But
probably not with a bunch of other cargo in
It's
it.
gonna be a
No.
whole lot. It's gonna be harder than the other
it's
two
not
plans.
designed for that. The ship is a cargo vessel in
Without
in the
help.
sense that it's carrying, it's loaded a certain way. It's not designed like a hangar. It's not like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it's possible.
Yeah.
You could do it.
Well, I feel like
Easier with help.
Scott is gonna go with what is the most logical chance of success,
Yeah.
and being that he's damaged, he's probably erring on the side of caution for self-preservation. So if anyone wants to try and convince him, they're welcome to.
Convince them of what? So what are we?
Because you guys seem to be wanting to do the blast out plan.
Well, Kane does.
It's basically right now it's weird because it's not meta to say this, but I will say that like when you look at memory, she wants to go with the plan that will take you longer across space but won't piss off Al. Right? Like she seems to, and I'll tell you,
That's what
outright,
Scott's getting.
she seems to fear/appreciate Al. Like you
Okay.
would making your friend sad that you didn't buy them a birthday present. Right? Like there's this like loyalty that she has for this algorithm.
Gotcha.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, but I feel like I'm putting it out there because I feel I'm not against going through the bubble. I'm telling you guys like
But
Scott,
Scott
I'm gonna
is.
push for this
yeah,
for this
yeah.
other plan.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I can just tell you that both are going to suck and have problems.
All right, so we get back together.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
same-
yeah.
Well, there was a time.
You guys
There
go
was.
back to the front of the ship.
We all-
Everybody sits down with whatever plan we decide. What is it?
I think our best plan is to shoot the bubble and blast our way out of here because I don't know if we'll be able to go through the Intergap as much as it would be quicker and we can get to Pluto faster, hopefully, depending on where we're going. Just likelihood is low.
Is that something you're confident you can do?
Shoot away through the bubble?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. With the
These weapons can do it.
yeah, with the guns that we have on this ship, yes.
Is it something you're confident you can do? We will need some tricky maneuvering to get us out.
We'll find out now, won't we?
That's not reassuring.
I think that's his
Very
way of saying
uncharacteristic.
yes.
So there, I will say there is a moment where Scott, this doesn't compute. It doesn't. There's no way. This is the bad idea. And you know why care about how a thing that doesn't have emotion feels?
Sure.
Like that
yeah.
crosses your mind, which sort of shouldn't, right? You're processing that, right? It's like, why should you care about the emotions of a thing that doesn't have emotions? But then again, why are you asking this question? That process, that's something that passes through your growing mind.
Yeah.
And that
How dare you.
That probably hurts.
How dare you make me feel things?
So, but that does go through, and you can sort of, maybe you can sort of leverage that in the future, right? You guys didn't do what I did last time, so keep that in mind. So as you launch off into the air, you're going to do what?
So, I mean, it's pretty close. So we could get to, like, any bubble within, like, seconds, pretty much. Like any part of the dome in seconds.
Didn't you say there were smaller bubbles? Well, no, we probably should go for the big one.
No. I said that there was probably a way to get in between the different bubbles on the surface of Mars. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So,
We don't necessarily want to do that, or should we?
no, we should probably just get out of here because we have the police looking for us. They know what our ship looks like, and
All right. So, do we have a lower area that does not have a lot of people around it?
Yeah, you have like the cargo section in the back of the ship.
No, I mean in the dome.
Yeah, there's like the large park in the middle. It's like in New York.
In the middle.
Sure.
all right. All right.
It's a circle city. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
All right. Ewan, take us over the park. We're going to try and do this with as little damage to civilians as possible.
Straight at the top.
I mean, do you have a better way of getting out of here?
Civilian lives aren't my problem.
Yes, but we've caused enough damage as possible, and I'm not so... I don't like the idea of killing innocents.
Don't worry, the top's far
Can't
enough
say I
away
haven't
because
done it
it's a
before,
dome,
but
So
okay.
it's the farthest part.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do rocket into space from the ground in the middle?
No, well, we're going to hover above the...
It's not going to take us very long to get there. Turn the cloaking back on.
Right, yeah.
We can't. We used it up.
No, we
No,
did not.
well, we used
used
2
only
minutes.
We have 3 minutes left.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Man, we're fast.
Well,
Yeah,
we were talking
The
longer
ship's
here.
super fast. It moves.
Yeah.
It moves like 3,000 feet per 6 seconds.
Do we have inertial damage?
no, 30,000.
a lot.
30,000. Yeah. Wait, is it 3,000
Times
times
100.
100? So it is 30,000 feet in 6 seconds.
It's
So
0 to
is-
60 is incredible.
Is inertial
what is,
dampening
what is that in a second? What's
thing?
that per second? What's that feet per second?
I don't know.
It's just divided by 5, which is 6,000.
feet per
6,000 feet per second.
I'm still saying that's a top speed. But whatever. Moving on.
3,000 times
No, that's
100.
Genuine
That's-
question.
Is,
300,000.
Is inertial dampening a thing in this universe?
it's part of what
That's
You
G.
mean inside the ship?
Yeah,
inside
you're good.
Okay.
None of that will. None.
Yeah.
I will say.
We're not going by the, you know.
Gosh.
I will
It's
say.
fall damage.
I will say that there is a degree that you feel it, in the sense that it's like you're behind the wheel of a Formula One race car, and you will feel it go, but then there is a moment when it will not. You won't it won't kill you.
And that's already significantly dampened.
Right. So it only does so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unless you have a really nice car.
This is a really nice car.
Well,
An
this
even
is
nicer
a
president's
heavily
car.
modified car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
It's the
Banana ship.
Yeah.
All right. Jane, are we gonna need both cannons to?
Yes.
Okay.
Both barrels.
Yes. All right. Everyone, buckle in. This is gonna be. We're gonna be getting out of here quickly. All right. Ewan.
I think we can shoot while cloaking.
Can we
so-
shoot? Can we shoot while cloaked?
We can't shield while using the cloaking shield, but
You can, as soon as you shoot, the cloak is off.
okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
And also, as soon as you accelerate beyond 500 feet, the cloak is off.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
So you
right.
are gonna just
Yeah.
take off. That's the goal.
Gotcha.
When Joe Flor says
point.
buckle in, Scott's at comms is instead of using the seatbelt, his feet, like little things, are going to come out and latch onto the floor.
Your toes are magnets.
And same with the seat.
What was that?
There's a police car passing.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
he's literally just going to bolt himself to the chair
Just-
and floor.
Like he's in. All right.
All right. Kane. You got weapons.
I was trying to feel it again. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Ewan, as soon as he shoots and we see that there's a clear path, get us out of here.
I'll do what I can.
Okay. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do. All right. So you begin. I don't like this music. It
I was
wasn't
gonna
cool.
say what?
It wasn't a good one. I wanted something to feel.
No.
That's kind of our action music.
I know. I need like.
Like impending danger.
Crisis music.
No, I know.
Not like danger is here, but danger's on the way.
Nope.
You can name a track now. Danger's on the way.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. That's
I
a good
can,
one.
I can work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So you sit in the front middle of this ship. You look around. You have a good, nice 180 degrees of field of view from your current slightly relaxed angle. You're like leaning back. Your arms are out against the joysticks.
Mm-hmm.
And you look out, and then you see this like holographic projector sort of like zoom, and like show you the controls. You see the speed, and you see how much fuel the ship has, and you see all that context, and you've got it. You're ready to go. And then you sort of like you've done this before, but you sort of hover the ship upward. But in this case, it's going to be a lot different because you're just going to push it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna test it. Have you? I feel like you have. What moment in your past does this take you back to?
Learning how to fly with the SJF, learning how to navigate with their ships.
You sort of feel the way that this sort of moves. It doesn't move like an SJF ship. It wants to. Somebody tried to make it, but it's a bit of a Mustang underneath, a bit of a Bronco ready to kick, and it sort of has its own mind as you sort of take up in the air slightly, then you push.
Whoa there.
This is where the fun begins.
And
Yes, it
y'all take off. The ship is moving. You're headed upward. Who's gonna fire the hole? Go ahead and roll to hit. You're aiming for hardness in this case, actually. It's fine. I'm just letting you know the AC is actually how difficult it is to penetrate. It's +5 to hit.
Okay. 11.
11, you sort of hit the edge of this dome, and it just sort of little like black char hits the edge of the screen. It sort of starts to flicker.
Second
Is
barrel?
memory-
You gotta fire that second barrel.
Is Memory able to assist him? Since she's inside the ship, too.
No, she's operating engines, making sure that you
Yeah.
can do what you do.
14.
14 just barely scrapes it, actually. 13 is what you needed. And so you fire through, and there's enough of a hole, you're going to have to take the ship with its shield. It is going to take some of the shielding.
Okay.
So you're prepared yourself. You move, as you begin to accelerate beyond 500 feet, you hit 1,000, you hit 1,200. You're moving 3,000 feet across the city, and then finally you reach the edge of this dome, and the ship is going to take damage, and it's just going to take a flat 200, or I guess two
Two
shield points as it
Gotcha.
sort of just and it smashes into the edge.
Scrapes the sides.
Just this nasty like sound, just sort of like shocks everything. It's terrible, and it's not great.
2 out of 8. 200 out of 800
Yeah,
Shield points.
just cracks it. Now, mind you, it has to recharge. In 24 hours, it comes back.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
I was about to ask how long
yep.
does it take to...
Were we cloaked while we did that?
No.
No,
No.
Wait,
No.
As soon as
No.
you shoot... yeah, as soon as we
That
shot.
shields... No, because... Yeah, just...
Right now we're running.
Yeah.
Because apparently we can't run and cloak at the same time. Therefore, running.
So as you do this, you sort of hear behind you this like woo, 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 as like the police cars start to like ascend. There's like if you could imagine like
They're not
ants
gleaming
climbing
us,
up
are
a
they?
fishing wire as
Oh,
they sort
yeah.
of like move themselves like black and then red and blue lights sort of flare and flicker. But you guys are already like long gone,
Yeah.
moving yourselves upward. You see as the ship like you can't even see, but like if we were to look, the camera would show the ship sort of going into the sky. You all would be like faces pulled back a little bit, except for
me out of
Scott.
the helmet.
We can't
helmet.
stop.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
And then finally there's a moment as you sort of enter outside the atmosphere, and there's this like all of that goes away, and the camera just sort of like hard zooms in, almost like cheesily, into the edge of the dome, and there's just sort of this like that just covers it up. That whole.
How many
the
cops
bar.
hit the shield trying to chase us?
We don't see them anymore.
You don't see
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
You see a wily coyote like.
If it's a comedy moment, depends on how they animate
No,
it.
I'm just
Yeah.
But no, it was one of those where you're now out into the atmosphere, but everyone is aware.
Okay.
All right. Are there? Can I scan for asteroids and moons to hide in?
Yeah.
Does Mars? How many
yeah.
moons does
So
Mars
are you
have?
looking for?
At least one somewhere.
Are you looking for one of Mars's
Couple.
moons, or are you looking for something else?
Like an asteroid belt,
Something,
maybe?
something that we can lay low in from the orbital patrols, or something beyond. You know, whatever the closest planet.
So the closest planet it would be obviously Earth.
Well, in the other
but
direction.
you're going the
Wrong direction.
opposite direction. So the opposite direction would be, so there is Saturn.
Saturn's
There's
good.
Just
That has a
Jupiter.
whole-
Jupiter is closer. Sorry,
That's
Jupiter's closer.
Jupiter. And the closest planetoid moon, whatever, it would be Phobos, or
Yes.
or Deimos, depending on when it is. But I'm gonna give you the choice just
Yep.
for the sake of narrative.
I feel like those
And
are
those
highly
are
populated.
those are Mars moons.
Those are Mars's two.
Well, the surface isn't highly populated,
moons.
so I wouldn't expect the moons.
But
the
like,
moons
they're
that
gonna-
I'm allowing. I have only a certain number of moons that
Right.
I've populated in this game.
Those
Yeah,
are the best
gotcha.
2 moons. We don't need the others.
I think there's only 2, maybe 3.
There's
4.
probably other little small
us in the
things.
comments.
Those are the good ones.
What do we know about those 2 moons? Are they kind of like just pit
I-
stops, or
I
are they
can give
highly
you-
secured?
I can give you some. So Phobos and Deimos. Phobos and Deimos.
We weren't using that moon anyway.
Phobos is known as the Shadowed Sentinel in this world right now, and then Deimos is sort of a bit of a barren, virtually no atmosphere. It's a mysteriously smooth surface, but Phobos is barren as well, devoid of atmosphere. There's some outposts and stations on Phobos, and then there's like a sort of like a habitat, like almost zoo, like sort of structure to study Mars on Deimos.
Okay. Sensors indicate Phobos is within range. Shall we go there?
I'd rather find an asteroid belt and hide in an asteroid.
This is not an asteroid belt nearby. I don't think so. I'm saying this out of game.
How long would it take for us to get to an asteroid belt?
To get to an asteroid belt, is the asteroid
like
belt
Saturn.
is between which 2 planets? It would be.
Neptune, Saturn?
I think so.
The big one.
So
don't
basically,
remember.
but we could go to Saturn first
Pull an
and hide
Obi-Wan-
in its rings.
Pull an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Get
Ju-
It's
a
or
Jupiter.
between
I know
Mars and
you want
Jupiter. So
to.
actually, you'd be close enough to the asteroid belt to go in it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a reasonable journey?
The journey, bear with me, is going to be. I'm going to go to the measurements tab of my little notes. That is going to be from Mars to Jupiter. Is around the halfway point between those. We'll say is in AUs to the nearest 0.25 AUs. Is going to be 3.75 from Mars to Jupiter.
AUs?
In AUs.
What's that in time?
About
I was
20
wondering.
It was
days.
6 days.
Yeah,
wasn't
because
it?
remember, you could travel at
Six-
Is it 20 or 6
6.75
days?
days.
6 days for one.
6.75 days per AU. So if it's roughly 3 AUs.
So it's going to take us 20 days to get to the asteroid belt.
20 days. What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 times, yeah.
Well, I would recommend if we are going to make the journey to the asteroid belt, we should cloak ourselves, reassign our signature to some innocuous vessel, and then decloak at a position that looks like we're departing from a port.
Okay. Yeah, that works. And do we want to go to the asteroid belt, or do we want to go to Deimos or Phobos?
Whatever's not populated and gets us out of the eyes of the public.
Kane, what do you think?
How in the eyes of the public are we?
Not
Well,
very.
we just
Right.
got the entire Martian police force on our butt.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah,
I will
but
tell
they
you,
were inside the
here's,
dome.
here's what I'll give you. You left in contraband, right? You left in contraband. You left in a condemned vehicle, right?
Yep.
Sure.
That they were sort of rechanging and repopulating to themselves.
Yes.
You look over to Memory, and Memory says, "We don't exist." Right? Like, this ship doesn't exist. You don't
Sure.
exist.
But we're like a mass. Okay.
You're a mass in space, yes.
Whatever.
But also, you've seen what's it called? The Expanse,
Yeah.
right? Being a mass in space, when there's, in this case, the fastest way to travel across the galaxy would be the inner gap,
Right.
and that's all very regulated and well documented.
Sure.
This space travel, from the perspective of Scott, yeah, this is a stupid idea. From the perspective of, like, you know, it's the Wild West out there. There's what you gonna do? You gonna hyperdrive into my location? No, you're gonna travel 6 months to try to get where I am.
Well, we
So-
can do whatever.
So basically, if there's no one physically chasing us from the dome right now, then we shouldn't
The
expect
only
it.
the only thing you could potentially bump into would be, like, if they have
Or we shouldn't-
communicated ahead, they might be looking for you, and they would be.
But they'd be looking for us.
Game-wise, we're
You're in the
hidden.
clear.
We're at least good to go
Yeah.
to the asteroid
Okay.
belt. They might be waiting for us on Jupiter.
Sure.
Which,
So
I mean,
the asteroid belt hiding out is probably a good move.
Yep. All
word
right.
of your exploits is definitely going to travel,
Yeah.
but
Sweet.
you can travel freely.
And video.
Right on.
All right.
Oh, trust me, the danger is just yet to come.
Right.
So I have this awesome book by Cubicle 7 that I got at Gen Con. And so what we're going to do is we're going on a journey. We're going on a journey. And so, which means we need to determine the roles of our journey. There's 4 people here, and luckily 4 roles. Okay. So somebody is going to have to be our we'll call him our leader, right? Someone's going to have to be our leader, the person that is keeping up morale, making sure that people are navigating obstacles well, keeping spirits high, and resolving potentially tense interactions between the people that are now living in a refrigerator. You all, as you sort of fly through space, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the person that is, we're going to call them the, I don't know, the tracker, they're called the Outrider in this book, but basically their goal is to find the path through the dangerous terrain and lead the party to safety.
Navigator.
The Navigator, thank you. Then we'll sort of have the Quartermaster, right? The person who is ensuring that the group is fed, equipped, prepared, monitoring, like, the ship's equipment, all those kinds of things, right? Checking life support, and then we'll have the well, I see. Now there's the Sentry, right? So the Outrider would be a different thing. They would be the person who is just tracking the path. The Navigator versus the person who's looking at the radar, which those are different people.
Like this Sentry.
Yeah, you can just call them Sentry. It's fine.
Sentry. Yeah. Okay.
That would be the lookout for the party. So between you 4, you will need to determine who is doing what role as we travel on this journey.
Well, he's flying, so he's navigating.
Yep,
Scott's wary for danger, so he's sentrying.
Okay.
it fits.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like, well, it's between you two. Who's
I don't think either of us is. Well,
I feel like I'm
we have
better
the
quarterback.
same charisma.
I feel like Kane is more apprehensive. I mean, he doesn't strike me as one to take lead. He seems one to
Not at this point in time.
not yet, at least, his character. But I don't know. What do you think?
Quartermaster seems kind of fit for Jove Thor. Just in
Yeah, they're monitoring the ship, checking the systems, like all those things.
right,
Jeff Thor's a wrench monkey.
literally. Except his wrench is not a good weapon for him. Rock, paper, scissors.
Roll for it. Roll for it. Odds and evens.
Oh,
I can also give you each of these people are going to have sort of checks that they do along the way. So I'll just sort of tell you the leader is going to have to do either persuasion to sort of keep optimism as the bleakness of space sort of gets to you. They might have to do these are basically they'll do one of the following during the journey. Right?
Yeah.
So either persuasion, or they'll do an insight check to look inward and to resolve themselves in the dangers they may face.
I've at least got proficiency in insight.
Or a song in your heart. They sing a song and tell a tale of sort of basically make a performance check
This
or
was
tell a
not
story.
made for sci-fi.
So tell a story. But I will say that any role could be a leader. You'll just have to do a good job convincing me.
I don't have an advantage on any of those rolls, and my insight is. What's your wisdom?
Proficiency?
Oh, what's your wisdom?
14.
My wisdom is 8.
Well, Kane, have fun.
Maybe Kane is the leader.
Kane, keep up morale, sad boy.
Eeyore to the rest.
All right,
Well,
so
he's also been.
You don't have it as bad as me.
Kane
Could always
is,
be worse.
Kane is also the one that has done the most intergalactic
yes.
travels and shipping, so he knows
For long periods of time.
Yeah, he knows life on a ship.
Yep. All right, we've got our leader.
It was my job
He will be our
before
captain.
what happened.
Oh,
That's a good
Captain Kane.
I think he's captain.
Kane.
I think we're gonna say Captain Kane.
Captain.
Actually, there is a like book, not book. There's a C section of this, and I may refer to those because they have.
Was it difficult, in its creation?
I'll look into it in a second. The next would be, of course, our navigator. Our navigator
that's
is
me.
going to have to. They're going to have to make a wisdom survival check to use the mapping
Ooh.
to map themselves across this galaxy. They may also have to make an intelligence nature check to use the proper forces of gravity and other things, or investigation. I could be persuaded. Then, of course, there may be the charting the course, where they use their technology as well
We have technology.
to trust the systems themselves.
Some of us do.
I'm just going to look really quick. This would be 232. This is kind of exciting. It's fun for me. I like to take things a little slow sometimes. If you're bored,
We will be. 20
write
days.
in the comments what I should have done. Because I take criticism very well.
It was the right response.
Yeah, Captain, Bosun, Lookout, Quartermaster. Interesting. Kind of fun. Cool. I just wanted to know. So now we have there's the Quartermaster. The Quartermaster actually basically will have to do. Got it. Cool. So they will use a. In this case, they would make like a strength athletics check to carry some of the gear. But in this case, I'm actually going to say that they need to make an investigation check to properly organize and pack all of the things that you have. Then there will be the using tools, technology or tools to take inventory of your equipment, sharpening blades, preparing guns, mending jetpacks, etc.
Making new things.
Or they may have to make things themselves, right?
Modifying things.
You'll have plenty of time to do so.
Yeah.
And then the last and certainly not least would be cooking or brewing. If you wanted
Or
to
pressing the button.
do some of that.
Jetson style.
Jetson style. And then, of course, there's the sentry. They will make a perception check, investigation check, depending on which way they're doing it. They could make a piloting or
that's me.
a stealth check, their
Got
choice, to ensure that the party is not being followed. And then the last one would be to use their, if they have any sort of tool, whether it be a disguise kit or otherwise. So that's kind of how that is going to work. So now that we sort of know the rules of who's doing what, are we satisfied with our picks?
So, leader, Kane, navigator, Ewan, quartermaster, Jove Thor, sentry, Scott.
Yep.
All
All
right,
right.
sure.
So to begin, we begin with the sort of group travel check. So sort of make your decision, leader. What are you doing as the? Maybe we'll end with the leader because they're sort of doing other things. Let's do. Well, let's navigate first. What do you say? Who's our navigator?
That's me.
All right, so you are navigating. You're technically flying the ship, but nonetheless, you're looking at the maps. You're putting it on autopilot occasionally, making sure that it all goes well. Which
Like-
role are you choosing to do?
Like you do.
Are you choosing to, choosing to use a survival check or an investigation check to sort of find the ideal location? Are you trying to do any math to make sure that it's all going well, or are you going to chart the course using tools?
Investigation.
Okay, so he's going to, in this case, he would be blazing the trail. He would be just finding the ideal spot to start. You trying to find some sort of on the horizon. You see nothing in the horizon. It's space, but you're gonna, I guess, follow stars.
Yeah, we get a lot of them in space.
Go ahead. Oh, I should tell you what you're trying to
a
roll
4.
against. My bad. So what you got to do is you got to
13.
find this. We have to set the route together. This how long is it going to take us to get to our destination?
It was 20 days, I think you said.
In ideal path.
Let's just do it in a straight line here. So that would be 6.75 days per AU. We're going to normal speed. And then the
never
distance from Mars to Jupiter was 3.75 AU.
So 3.75 times 6.75
Divided by 2.
divided by 2. That actually is about 12 and a half days.
Oh, okay. That's to get us to the asteroid belt.
Yes, to get us to the
Which
asteroid.
one
So
we're
the-
going to hide out
The
for a
asteroid
second.
belt, you said 12 days?
12 and a half.
So 12 and a half
Or
would be
12.65 if we want.
it would be considered a long journey. So it is a long. Wait, 12 and a half is only. It's less than 2 weeks, so never mind. It's a medium journey. The medium journey, we're going to take the difficulty plus the conditions. In this case, it would be clear. We're not sort of experiencing any strange nebulas or anything like that. And then we're very very open expanse, right? So our difficulty is actually only going to be a 12. So what you're trying to roll is you're trying to beat a 12.
I got a 13.
You did?
So we are not going to get lost in space.
That's always
Wrong
good.
course.
Trademark.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
By the way, before we sort of go even any further, is there any preparations you guys wanted to make? Any things you wanted to do to prepare yourselves? You could
We
sort
should have
of-
probably done that before we
Yeah, you're
got out
good.
of the
You're
dome.
good.
So
In the future, we can do these things. You can research. You can seek advice. You can study the potential like planetoids that are moving across the sky. You can get supplies, all that
I
kind of
see.
stuff. So it's basically just like you'll be able to actually prep. In this case, we left quickly.
did.
Okay.
So I like that we left.
So we're
quickly.
skipping that.
Yeah, we're gonna skip that. We left quickly.
Did.
We
Very much
had
so.
to leave. Things were dangerous. All right, so now we're continuing to move.
Rupert Hayes.
He's on your trail.
Or is he?
Probably
Are the
is.
comms on? That's my question. Did you ever turn them back on?
Oh,
His
his?
comms?
No, the
when
comms.
The
you and memory.
comms to the ship.
Chatted.
Comms to the ship.
Yeah, remember
you
we
turned them off when she started talking about Al.
Oh, she
Oh,
turned off
no.
the voice. I thought she just turned off his comms.
Well, if we're in a hurry, then
We did not turn them on. We did not turn them back on before we left the
probably
atmosphere.
won't
Do we
turn them
even
on
know?
until, because at a certain point in our 12-day journey, I'm just going to do research or whatever and become as acquainted with this ship as I possibly can.
Sweet, that's a good idea.
And I'll turn the comms on.
And we
then.
will have time for that. There will be time, ample time to roleplay. For now, we're rolling our rolls to see if anything's going to happen. So while you guys roleplay, I prep the craziness.
Fair.
So you are actually our navigator. Fantastic. That was him. Sorry.
You win.
You and-
You're our sentry. You're
Yep.
watching the map, looking on the.
Map.
How do you envision this map looking?
Radar.
You're in a chair, mind you, so it's sort of.
Right now, at my current level of familiarity with the ship, I'm just looking at it like a view screen, like any normal
Yeah.
human would, and I'm just analyzing the flight patterns for the non-intergap, vessels that are around. It's mostly security forces, a couple long-range cargo transports for cheaper freight, and then see some black market stuff. But it's all pretty scattered, pretty out there. It's pretty dead in open space ever since intergap flight became mainstream.
All right. So your choice. You can make a investigation check to try to look at this stuff. You can also make that a wisdom perception, should you want to look out in space, see what you see. Or you could make a stealth check to sort of use your natural ability to find, spaces that people can't see you in.
I'll do stealth.
All right. Go ahead and make a stealth check. You're tempted to see if you're trying to make it hard for us to be followed, sort of directing Ewan's flight patterns.
Redirecting what information is
18.
stored.
So yes, you beat a 12.
Okay.
Our journey's not too difficult. We're just traveling from Mars to the asteroid belt.
Sure.
What's up?
And redirecting other people's information that gets stored. Their visual information and everything else.
If you were going from, say, for example, from Mars to Earth, this would be like an 18, right? It would be a much more difficult thing to roll, right? Because there would be a lot of ships traveling between. There would be a lot of other things. But this is not a well-traveled direction. Right? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, like, from Saturn to Jupiter's and, like, all those kinds of things. But just this particular path is very neutral.
I feel like the most of the traffic we're going to encounter is in a similar predicament as we are.
Sort of having to make the journey rather than wanting to.
Right. Trying to stay hidden.
Oh, yeah. You may run into pirates, etc. Who knows? Depends on how you guys roll.
Space
now,
band details.
Hondo?
it is going to be Hondo. Now it is going to be... Let's go ahead and just go to Jovthor. So,
right.
Jovthor, before you get down and dirty with your tools, tell me how it is that you are going to do this. You're going to make an investigation check to sort of get the gear well oriented, or are you going to use a tool proficiency to ensure the quality of gear?
Investigation, definitely.
All right. So he goes back to the cargo hold, and he sort of just gets the lay of it. Whoever it was sort of was very disorganized before.
Do you have a cargo hold?
Yeah, it's the thing at the bottom. It's
Yeah,
like when you go up into the ship, it's like this platform, and then the platform leans up, and then there's enough space for I would say 4 ATVs, sort of if you guys wanted to do that, you could put 4 ATVs in there, and that's about the space that you have in your cargo hold, and then you have netting on the walls that holds containers.
Okay.
That's basically what the cargo hold is.
Yeah. I rolled an 18. But just kind of going, yes, we kind of just threw everything in because we were trying to get out of there quickly.
So you organize it.
Yeah, I'm going to organize it, take inventory of all of the different things. I see the staff that I assume Kane's going to get. I see my duffel bag full of...
Actually, am I still holding on to that?
We threw... It is in the ship. Whether you...
It is labeled here as cool staff.
Yes. And one sec. Can I have... And I'm going to investigate the cool staff along with the carbine that Scott got, and just take inventory of all of our weapons, all of our additional things that we got in the hurried end of the battle.
Okay. You have all the things that we talked about. I don't know.
Cool.
Do I need to
I can't...
go through them all?
We didn't go into the staff yet, but I think that was on purpose.
Yeah, we haven't otherwise you have all the materials you need to do your upgrades that we pre-talked about before this
Right.
thing. And then you guys have the chip that she has now mentioned. You guys have what else did you want to grab? You had some
His
items.
key fob.
You had a few
Yeah.
grenades or landmines or whatever they were.
Yeah.
But I think those are
He
now
took
in
some
people's
grenades.
inventories.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we're good. Things have been explained.
I took
Which
2
people's
grenades and a
inventories might
dagger.
be
Shank.
Yeah.
might be in the cargo hold, except for maybe the ship.
So
Right.
are we still doing ship stuff, or are we determining what we do?
We're about to do the last ship thing, and then we're going to have some free play.
Before we go to that, did I find anything else in the ship, any other extra
Any
supplies?
additional things?
Yes.
We'll do that in free
Anything
play.
what?
This
Better?
is our just we're just rolling to see if any
Okay.
complications get arised from our rolls.
Perfect. Okay.
Before I introduce potential encounters.
housekeeping.
Yep. This is going to be the way that we travel going forward. We're going to do this fun little travel mini game, and then basically based on that roll, there will be the actual make the journey section, right?
Yep. Sounds good.
And so basically the way that it works is that if you guys all succeed on your on your travel checks, then I take the base number of encounters and multiply and reduce it by a number. that
Oh,
is,
sure.
like, fancy.
Yeah, no
So-
pressure. Yeah,
right.
got it.
So that's fancy. So now it's you here. Go ahead and you can make your persuasion check, insight check, or
Yes.
performance check.
It's going to be the insight.
Or you can try to persuade me with something else, but insight.
Not
Go
the
ahead.
moment.
Here we go. All I need is a 12.
Kane's looking deep inside himself. And we're
'Cause
not talking
the-
about that hole in his chest.
Oh, we got it.
Dude, that didn't even, that was just a straight.
Just 16 on the
Yeah.
die. It feels good, doesn't
Can I
it?
go the way? 20.
20. The whole party succeeds. Keep in mind, this is a medium-sized journey, so there will be something in our future. And so as you guys are
Sort.
now in free play, I'm going to look into the encounters.
Gotcha.
All right.
So what is it you want to do? I can listen and do this at the same time.
So Jofthor is going to look around the ship to see what other additional supplies and things were left in the ship by the SJF, or look for any hidden compartments that the people who modded the ship and who the SJF took the ship from, if they had any hidden compartments.
Yeah, so go ahead and make... whoever wants to be with him can make an investigation check to see if there's any of those sort of hidden compartments.
I'll go with him.
19.
So yeah, you find a number of like tags, like people who had like, so and so was here.
Okay.
Right, like you see
Yeah.
some of those scratched in the underside of things, and a lot of gum under table. As you kind of look around the space, but the cargo hold is very bare bones, right? I would say you find like, I guess a gun. You find like a replacement repeater
Okay.
if you needed one. Somebody had one just kind of there. You find like a little hatchet, like break glass if scenario, right? You find it's pretty bare bones because it was stripped, right?
Yeah. By the SJF.
And your total roll, one more time, remind me.
19.
Yeah, I would say it's just narratively there's not much here. It wasn't meant to. They sort of stripped it before they put it back in, but they left the cloaking and they left its fancy doodad. So
Right. I mean, there's taking stuff out of it, and then there's completely modding systems that are integrated into the ship.
right. So
Right.
yeah, it's
Okay.
just very.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. And then after that, Jofthor is just going to start
Making.
working. Yeah, he's going to start doing all of the things that he's been wanting to do for about 6 episodes now.
Yep.
Sorry, needed to get that out.
Yes, it's very loud.
Sure.
What are those things?
Great question. So, Jofthor is making his pseudo armor masterwork, and then making it exotic, which gives it a +1 to its AC, and then he is making it scaled, which gives it a +3 to its AC. Let me double check.
So what does that look like in future terms?
What does that look like in future terms? So, Jofthor, right here. So his jacket is now going to have kind of metallic scales out of it, kind of looking like an old suit of armor that just has a bunch of.
Put it in the lining.
Oh yeah, that. Well, the way that it says scale.
Fine.
It's like,
Cloth on the
no,
inside.
I know. I'm just.
Cloth on the inside, cloth on the outside.
Let's see.
I'm just imagining like chainmail.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like that.
Just put a jacket over it.
So scaled. This armor is covered in heavy, hardened scales. The AC provided by this armor increases by 3, but its maximum dexterity bonus becomes +2.
I think.
For,
Yeah, you keep going.
no, that's all scaled. So fortunately, my dexterity is +2. So
Yeah.
+3, +1, so +4 to my
AC.
AC.
Wow.
Good.
And
So you like work? That's cool.
Hopefully you won't die.
imagine-
I imagine him like pull down a little,
and
like whatever that's called, the welding.
The welding hood, yeah.
And since
Joint trades.
since we got to level 5, I now have
Yes.
journeyman level
Ooh. I like
things that I can do, and with that, I can make the armor resistant to one type of damage other than psychic. And I'm going to make it resistant to radiant damage.
Yeah, that's a good call.
What?
Making it resistant to blasters.
yeah, exactly. So
Wow. Jofthor just got an upgrade.
yes,
Wow.
So maybe you're not going to die every combat this time.
I didn't die in the last combat.
So
For once.
so you guys are traveling for a couple of days, and Jofthor is kind of spending time doing this. What are you doing?
Well, Scott is going to first repair himself and then take a look at the ship, like all of its systems, get familiar with it, get familiar with the personality of the ship as far as, like an animal has a personality. And essentially, he's going to get to the point where he can just kind of plug himself into the ship and do what he does with the Scott bot.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
Interesting.
so instead of like watching the view screen, he'll just sit there and his eyes will like turn off. Like they'll be like glowing blue and then they'll stop and then he'll just be in the ship.
So you're gonna set yourself up on each of the systems, essentially.
At least on
Comms.
Like L337 and Solo.
Yeah.
You're part of the ship.
You can
I
also.
don't like that character, so no.
No, he's like Bootstrap Bill Turner, part of the crew, part of the ship.
Basically, except it was voluntary.
Yeah.
You could
technically-
also ask memory to fix your memory. It's
and
like her name.
while I'm doing this, I'll get there. But while I'm doing this, I'm also going to take a note from Joe Thor, and I'm going to air tag the ship so that I know exactly, without anyone knowing. I'm just going to kind of leave my own little strip of code in there that
Neat.
lets me know where it's at if I can. I don't know if mechanically.
I like the idea of you being able to know where the ship is. Here's what I'll do. I will give you advantage. You should write this down. We'll give you advantage to track the ship should it be lost. Make sense?
All right. Sounds good.
I feel like it's a pretty good buff.
Yeah.
Now, while you're sort of getting yourself familiar with the ship, you're sort of sitting at the front, you're sort of looking at all these things. Go ahead and do something for me. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make you
Can
roll.
I talk to you in first?
You can, but while he does that, I'm going to make you roll the type of encounter that we're going to grab. So go ahead and roll. I was like, why am I doing this? More fun if you do it. Roll a d12 for me. What are you doing?
I talked with you at one point. Some point. Probably won't take that long. Like, so then, oh man, it's starting to come back again. That thing you were trying to grab at the one place. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
Well, why did you want to take it then?
We might need it.
But how do you know we might need it if you don't know what it is?
Sometimes you just have to trust others. I know, that's funny coming from me.
Yeah.
No, I've got my own plans. It's just a matter of finding someone who can help me implement them.
What is it going to involve? More prison time?
Perhaps.
Well, at the very least, it took my mind off things for a while. It was rather exciting, I suppose.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Maybe next time you'll be my cellmate.
All right. You go ahead and roll for me. I'm going to say, yeah, Kane, go ahead and roll for me a d10. So what was your roll?
6.
6. 6 is the type of encounter is a natural wonder. What did you roll? Okay. 3. All right, you guys ready?
No.
Hope
Okay.
so.
Does it make sense for this to be at the asteroid belt?
Yes.
It's a space worm.
So we get to the outer edge of the asteroid belt.
Yes.
Is a place you sort of see that there's a large rock, very, very large asteroid, as it sort of, you see like layers of crystals along its edge.
We
sort
can
of like
hide behind that
geode,
large rock.
like a geode. And you see sort of the sunlight hitting it just right, sort of blinks in a kaleidoscope of color.
Ooh.
We can hide behind that large shiny rock.
And
I don't think that's a rock.
everyone here may make a history check.
Ooh.
Ten.
15.
18.
11.
Jovthor's heard of this, but his people are a bit more superstitious than others. And Kane, you've heard of this only slightly. People on ships talk about weird things they've seen.
Like Kraken style.
Yeah, like just like weird superstitious things. But Jovthor, you've heard rumors that there's a message hidden within the blinking, but that no spacer has ever discovered it.
Not superstitious, just extrastitious.
Some people think it's the geode, the asteroid speaking. Some people think there's something within it. Some people think all kinds of things. But you know, Jovthor, that if you could interpret it, there might be a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow.
Am I able to record, like, with one of the ship systems, the flashing, just for later analysis?
You may.
Okay.
As you
Jovthor records.
as you enter the asteroid
What
belt.
kind of a feeling do I have here, having just heard?
Having heard,
Is it a good feeling or a
it's not a
foreboding
bad thing. It's more of like I said, it's more of a natural wonder. It's more of a thing that people think is
feeling? Have
just.
you heard about the thing?
Yeah. Have you heard about the crystal asteroid? Have you heard about the opalescent asteroid? Have you heard about that rainbow asteroid?
Like a Route 66 marker.
It's kind of.
They say there's a blah blah blah.
People
blah.
are like, if you go to the asteroid belt, see if you can find the one that blinks. And speaking of blinking, I think it's about time we pick up there next time. So
I
maybe
blinked.
that was super exciting to you, and you want to know all about this book. If you want to know all about this book, leave a comment, and I may do a review of it, talk about it in depth.
What's it called?
It's called Uncharted Journeys, and we're going to be using the hell out of it in the next couple games that I run. But I figured I'd try it here in front of you, and thanks for letting me. Without belaboring the point any longer, have a great night, and peace.